Why are the role models of most Muslims murderers and criminals? Why they sanctify killers such as Khalid ibn al-Walid and Salah al-Din, and not Ibn Sina, nor al-Farabi, nor all the great scholars and philosophers? Why are they proud of their crimes, and reject the crimes of ISIS that imitate them? Why do they sanctify who destroyed peoples and civilizations? Why did they give mosques, schools, and streets their names? Welcome to With Shoaib Show. Welcome my friends to With Shoaib Show. Our paramount question today is why the idols for most Muslims are killers and criminals, and not scientists in medicine and engineering, for example, or philosophers? Why are the idols of Muslims people killers like Khalid ibn al-Walid, Salah al-Din, and not philosophers like Ibn Rushd, Ibn Sina, al-Farabi and others? The answer to these questions I will offer through two models of killers and criminals, namely Khalid ibn al-Walid and Salah al-Din al-Ayyubi. Khalid bin al-Walid cut off the head of a Muslim like him, cooked it, and even raped his wife on the same night. This criminal incident occurred when tribes objected to being ruled by Abu Bakr as-Siddiq, which is the first caliph or first ruler after the death of the Prophet Muhammad. This means that they rejected his political hegemony, not wanting to be ruled by anyone from outside their tribe. That is why they refused to pay zakat, as the narrations say. It is assumed that this zakat is intended for the poor, not for the ruler, because in this case it becomes a levy. Therefore, this matter has nothing to do with religion. Not even with the idea of apostasy, meaning that they left Islam, for example. Because even if they left Islam, is it the right of Caliph and ruler Abu Bakr or someone else to fight them and force them to return to Islam by force of arms? Likewise, they did not give up Islam, but only refused to pay a tax to Abu Bakr and refused his rule over them. For me as a Muslim, this is an unacceptable act. Islam or any religion should not be imposed by force. This is not acceptable to the Islam in which I believe. They also did not abandon Islam, but rather refused to pay a tax to Abu Bakr and rejected his ruling on them. There is also a strange thing, which is that the companions of the Prophet Muhammad after his death, including Abu Bakr, Omar, Uthman and others, all focused on the ruling. That is, how they were deceived with all their tricks in order to seize power, and why by calling to Islam by peaceful means in countries that do not know Islam. I mean something similar to what the disciples of Jesus did. But they, instead, were preoccupied with ruling, as well as imposing Islam by force. And their choice is strange, and we Muslims need to think about it a lot. The important thing is that Caliph and first ruler Abu Bakr sent an army for the tribes that rejected his rule, and it was led by Khalid ibn al-Walid. The Muslim historian al-Tabari said that this army, when it reached the tribe of Malik bin Nuwayra, told them that if you are Muslims, put down your arms. They put down their arms and prayed together, i.e., the army of the Caliph Abu Bakr and the army of leader of the Bani Tamim tribe Malik bin Nuwayra tribe. When the prayer ended, the army of the ruler the Caliph Abu Bakr caught them, suffocated and tied them up, and took them to army chief Khalid ibn al-Walid. Two of the companions of the Prophet Muhammad, Abu Qatada al-Ansari and Abdullah bin Omar, defended Malik, the leader of the Bani Tamim tribe, and testified to them that they are Muslims and perform prayers. But army chief Khalid did not pay any attention to these words, and he also refused to hear Malik, who kept telling him I am a Muslim. He rejected Ibn Nuwayra's suggestion not to kill him and to take him to the Caliph and ruler Abu Bakr to judge between them. And he ordered that his neck be cut off. The Muslim historian Ibn Kathir reports in his book that Khalid ibn al-Walid cooked the head of Malik. The narrators who tell this story are disturbed by the idea of killing the leader of the Bani Tamim tribe, Malik bin Nuwayra, even though he is a Muslim. However, the crime is that you attack another tribe with a weapon, and the most heinous crime is that you kill a captive, whether he is a Muslim or a non-Muslim. But the narrations deal with crimes against non-Muslims as if they were a usual thing. Khalid bin al-Walid did not satisfy himself with this heinous crime. He also raped the wife of the man who he had killed the same night. The narrations say that she was one of the most beautiful Arab women, and of course the narrations do not say rape, but say, for example, Khalid bin al-Walid married bin Nuwayra's wife. Imagine the feelings of this woman. Her husband was killed, and then she was raped. However, you will not only find ancient historians glorifying the usurper murderer Khalid ibn al-Walid, but contemporary writers do as well, such as the famous Egyptian writer Abbas Mahmud al-Akkad, who wrote a book called The Genius of Khalid ibn al-Walid. The truth is that al-Akkad's writings about the early history of Islam need a thorough revision. Because of these crimes, one of the companions of the Prophet Muhammad, whose name is Abu Qatada, became so angry that he promised his God that he would not witness a war with Khalid afterwards. This is a noble position, of course, but it does not reject the idea of war and invasion, because it is only disturbed by the killing of Muslims, and perhaps killing non-Muslims is normal. Likewise, the companion of the Prophet Muhammad, Omar ibn al-Khattab, became angry, to the extent that he told the Caliph Abu Bakr, that Khalid had committed adultery, the wife of Malik, the leader of the Bani Tamim tribe, and that you, as a ruler, had to stone him. You will notice that the companion of the Prophet Muhammad, Omar ibn al-Khattab, did not reject the idea of forcing a tribe to submit by force of arms to the authority of the ruler Abu Bakr. The important thing is that Abu Bakr refused to punish the killer rapist Khalid ibn al-Walid. Is this a position that satisfies the conscience of any Muslim, not to punish Khalid ibn al-Walid or any Muslim for such crimes? Is it correct to imitate Abu Bakr or Khalid bin Walid? I don't think. I hope the Muslim who hears me will excuse me if I ask him to think about the reason why most companions of the Prophet Muhammad, Abu Bakr, Umar, Ali, Othman and others, did not think to put their trust in Allah and go to countries and places where there is no Islam in order to preach Islam. To preaching the new religion of Islam, without weapons, and in a peaceful manner. Why was their goal only associated with rule, power and wealth? Why was it not their goal to spread Islam with love and peace? We return to the crimes of the military commander Khalid ibn al-Walid, which companion of the Prophet Muhammad, Omar ibn al-Khattab, rejected, and said to the Caliph and ruler Abu Bakr, he killed a Muslim, so kill him, an eye for an eye. It is important here that Ibn al-Khattab rejected this crime because it was against a Muslim. Would he accept it if it was against non-Muslims, just as he did not reject the idea of imposing Islam by force? But Caliph and ruler Abu Bakr refused punishment of Khalid bin Walid and said, he just made the wrong judgment and thus, behaved wrongly. Is killing a human being just a wrong decision? Caliph and ruler Abu Bakr also said, O Omar, I would not sheath the sword that Allah blessed. What is meant here is that Khalid bin al-Walid is the sword of God. You will be surprised here by the type of God they worship, who needs a sword carried by murderers and criminals in order to defend him. It's weird. When Omar ibn al-Khattab became the caliph and ruler after the death of Abu Bakr, Khalid ibn al-Walid was dismissed not only because of his crimes, but also for more important reasons, including the political competition between them. The evidence for this opinion is that the army of Omar ibn al-Khattab, that occupied Egypt, committed heinous crimes as well, and the narrations never said that Omar was upset or angry of his army's crimes. Unfortunate. Returning to the military commander Khalid bin al-Walid, he also committed crimes during the rule of the Prophet Muhammad, as the narrations say. He killed Muslims from the tribe of Bani Judhima. It is important to emphasize that the Arab narratives that have reached us have no historical substantiation for them so far. Historian and jurist al-Bukhari narrates that the Prophet sent Khalid to tribe Banu Judhima and invited them to Islam. And here is a strange thing, which is that the narrations say the Prophet sent an army to invite tribe Banu Judayma to join Islam. Is this logical? Is it reasonable to invite people to join Islam under threat? And the strangest thing is that when the Prophet learned about Khalid bin al-Walid's crimes, he raised his hand to the sky and supplicated, "O Allah, I am innocent of what Khalid did," twice over. Why did the Prophet not hold him accountable for the crime of killing human beings, whether they were Muslims or non-Muslims? As I said, we have no historical evidence for these events. But suppose that they occurred, is the Muslim required to glorify and imitate them as ISIS did? In my opinion, no. Now I will address the crimes of Saladin, the ruler of Egypt, who among many Muslims glorified him, extermination of the Fatimids who ruled Egypt before him, because they are Shiites. Preventing them from procreating by isolating males, from newborns to 100-year-old men, in an area far from women. And I hope that no one will say that this is due to a struggle for power, for he could have seized power without genocide. He burned entire villages. For example, an entire residential neighborhood in Cairo, named Mansoura, was annihilated. The Muslim historian al-Makrizi says that the death toll reached 50,000. And the Muslim historian Shams al-Din says that Salah killed 200,000 Muslims in order to rule Egypt. In the eyes of the commoners, he liberated Jerusalem, when in fact he entered it with a peace agreement with the Europeans who occupied it. And he ceded the Levant coast to the Europeans who occupied it, for free without any resistance. He destroyed the library of Dar al-Hikmah in Egypt. The demolition of the 18 pyramids of Giza next to the 3 well-known pyramids. Salah al-Din demobilized the Egyptian army and kept his own guard divisions. I remember when I was young in Egypt, there was a new movie called Al-Nazir Salah al-Din. And a big fuss was made about the movie. How can you put the name of the great hero Salah al-Din on a comedic movie, who is a symbol of the nation, Arabism, Islam? The filmmaker had to change the name and make it only Al-Nazir. A movie was made in Egypt called Al-Nasser Salah al-Din, the aim of which is to glorify him as the great Arab Muslim leader, and the movie is unfortunately full of lies. We come to the important question, why are we not proud of Muslim scholars and philosophers who served humanity and did not destroy it? We have plenty of them. Among them is Al-Khwarizmi, a Muslim mathematician and astronomer. He is a Muslim from Mesopotamia, meaning Iraq. Important compilations by him have been translated, including Al-Muqtasar fi Hisab al-Gabr, Summary of Algebra, and a book entitled Sawarat al-Ad, Image of the Earth. Avicenna is a Muslim from Bukhari in Uzbekistan, a philosopher and a physician. He was able to treat many diseases, and he described an accurate prescription, for example, for eye diseases, diabetes and mental disorders. We also have historian and sociologist Ibn Khaldun, a non-Arab Tunisian Muslim. They consider him the founder of the philosophy of history. He is also the first to establish modern sociology. Among his most famous works is Introduction of Ibn Khaldun. Al-Farabi, who is from Turkmenistan, is not Arab, and is known for his superiority in logic, politics, philosophy, ethics, metaphysics, and epistemology. Yaqub ibn Ishaq al-Kindi is a non-Arab Iraqi philosopher, one of the great translators of Greek philosophy. We have many more. And these are not the achievements of the Arab Islamic civilization. They are the products of the occupied peoples, and unfortunately they are attributed to the Arab invaders. Now what conclusion? First, we as Muslims should not be worship people, no matter who they are. We do not even worship the Prophet Muhammad, he is a human being like us, as the Quran says. That is, we worship our Lord Almighty. The second thing is, as long as we regard Khalid bin al-Walid and Salah al-Din as role models, we will always have terrorist Islamic organizations like ISIS and Al-Qaeda and all the Islamists, who imitate these criminals. These people follow Khalid ibn al-Walid and Salah al-Din, not Muslim scholars and philosophers such as Al-Farabi, Ibn Sina, and Ben Rashed. As long as we tell the Muslim that Islam is not only a religion, but also a state, Sharia, and a colonial empire that should rule the world, we will continue to have extremists and terrorists. As long as we tell the Muslim that Islam is not only a religion, but also a state, Sharia, and a colonial empire that should rule the world, we will continue to have extremists and terrorists. It is time for the ideal of Muslims to be Muslims, who have contributed to the progress of humanity and its civilization, not to its sabotage and destruction. Thank you, my friends, and see you later in future episodes, God willing.